This week, I have made multiple videos talking about the complicity of the media. Not just CNN either. It's for sure been, the bulk of it has been CNN. CNN is mostly what I watch, but it's also been NBC, Katie Tur, just lathering Trump up, gushing over Donald Trump, talking about he's a changed man, all kinds of headlines I've brought to you about the media carrying water for Donald Trump, marching us in steady rhythm toward fascism, unapologetically so. They know who Donald Trump is. They know he's not changed. They know he is incapable of change. And yet, they still are doing it. They know what the outcome will be better than anybody else. And yet, they still do it. Well, last night, after it was promised that Donald Trump was a changed man and he was going to be promoting unity during his speech at the Republican National Committee, two CNN anchors, in this case, it's Jake Tapper, who we'll start with, and then Chris Wallace goes into a little bit more detail. It shows to me that it's a number of different things that could be possible. Either they're really stupid and don't pay attention, and I don't believe that to be the case. I think that these are highly intelligent men who have been paying attention to over the course of the last 8 years. They know what is at stake, and yet still, they have spewed their nonsense over the course of the several videos that I've done this week that no one seems to really care about to watch. I don't know if it's because, we know the media's in the tank. We know, or they feel like everybody else knows, so they don't want to share the content. I don't know. We're in a dangerous spot, and I think more people need to know, because I think people see CNN, see MSNBC. Now, they know Fox News. They know about that. But people need to know. They need hard evidence of what I'm talking about. So please share this video, or find these clips, find an article about this, and share it with people you know, because people need to be in the know. Let's start with Jake Tapper, who, after Donald Trump's speech, apparently had an epiphany. He's a changed man, Jake Tapper is, about his opinions from earlier in the week. Watch this.
I hope this doesn't sound harsh, but then it pretty much became the kind of speech we generally hear from Donald Trump at rallies, where he went off script and riffed and ad-libbed. We were told he wasn't going to even mention President Biden's name. He mentioned it at least twice. Very much the same Donald Trump that we are used to.
I hope this doesn't sound harsh. Oh, are you afraid you're offending the American Hitler, as J.D. Vance, the new vice presidential nominee, called Donald Trump? Are you afraid of that, Jake Tapper? I hope this doesn't sound harsh, but this is the same guy. Very much the same Donald Trump that we're used to. What? I was promised a changed man. A man who faced down an existential threat in the way of a bullet and changed. He wants to be the president for everyone. Is that what you think, Jake? Here's Chris Wallace, former Fox News employee, now CNN. He got into it a little deeper. Check this out.
There's something, a phenomenon in this campaign called Trump amnesia.
Record scratch. Do you think there's something called Trump amnesia that people suffer from, that forget the things he's done, that forget the policies he enacted, that forget who he is? Who might be suffering from that, Chris Wallace? Let's have a ponder. Let's think about that question for a moment, Chris Wallace. Who could it be that forgets about Donald Trump, that lacks mental acuity enough to not remember weeks, hours ago, that forgets the image that Donald Trump posted on his own social media that you're failing to remember, of Donald Trump versus bullet, Joe Biden versus stairs? Anyway, we'll replay the clip, but come on. This is just stupid and gross. You either think people who watch CNN are dumb fucks, or you yourself are a dumb f***. I don't see any other combination of things. Maybe you're a dumb f*** who thinks the rest of us are dumb f***s. Maybe that's it, Chris Wallace. But you are the one who's been suffering from Trump amnesia. Here's the clip again.
There's a phenomenon in this campaign called Trump amnesia, and that's the idea that a lot of people have forgotten what they either liked or loathed about Trump during his 4 years as president. And over the course of this hour and a half, you were reminded of what you liked or loathed about Donald Trump. And you're exactly right, Dana. What part of the, I have to say, for me, disappointment in this speech is because the Trump campaign had talked so much about how we were going to see a softer, more reflective Donald Trump. And he had a line early on. He said, I want to be president for all Americans because there's no victory in winning for half of Americans. And I thought, well, we're off to the races here, and this is really going to be a different Donald Trump. As you say, he then went in very reflective, somber, un-Trump-like detail, talking about how God saved him, saved his life, and seemed genuinely reflective. But then, for all of that, it seemed as if he couldn't keep up the act. And so we started hearing about crazy Nancy Pelosi and cheating on elections and talking about Biden. Frankly, it was a long speech. It was a rambling speech. It was a speech by an older man, and I couldn't help but think the people that are going to be happiest tonight are not the people at Trump headquarters, but the people, the Democrats, maybe at Biden headquarters, maybe at the headquarters of other people who think they're going to replace Joe Biden. But, Jake, we have ourselves a presidential campaign again.
Who are these people? Who are these people who get put into positions of influence and power over others? He's supposed to be someone who can give thoughtful, poignant analysis and deliver it to you. And that's what you get. Oh, he started and he was this is off to the races. And this is going to be a different Donald Trump. Did he really believe that? Or is that just for the cameras and the microphones? Because nobody I know believes that Donald Trump had any shred of possibility of changing. He didn't change seconds after the bullet went by his ear. Fight, making it a camera-ready moment. It seems as if he couldn't keep up the act. So did you know it was an act before when you were giving all the gushing, it's an electric time, an electric atmosphere. It's all filled with joy and love. Remember all of that just from the day before? Chris Wallace, do you remember? Because we remember. I remember. And with my tiny corner of the internet, I'm going to have people remember too, that you cannot be trusted. Jake Tapper, off the list of people who can be trusted. You've been carrying water and twisting yourself into a pretzel for well over a week since somebody shot at Donald Trump. And I don't know if you think that's what your job is, but it's not. You have the luxury of being a constitutionally protected profession, and you're squandering it. You're abdicating your role as the free and fair press. I'll throw it to you. What do you think? You can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I would love to hear from you. If you want to help support this work, if I'm your flavor of political commentator, there's a lot out there. Look, I guest host for David Pakman once in a while, and a lot of people who are his regular viewers, they're not a giant fan of me. I get it. We're different. But if I am that guy for you, if I'm somebody you appreciate, you don't mind the bombacity, you don't mind the elevated volume, then consider supporting this work, please. I would appreciate it very much. One, supporting the channel helps extricate me from worry about demonetization, about YouTube suppressing views, not recommending my content, you can help that happen, and that would be fantastic. Click the join button below. For $2 a month, you can become a channel member. You can go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/I Doubt It Podcast. That's not just for the podcast. That absolutely supports this work as well, and I would appreciate it very much. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.